Okay, so all right. And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. This
Good
is
afternoon, Hillary.
good afternoon, Bernie, and good afternoon to all our viewers out there. We are Marketing Moms Trinidad, broadcasting to you from Trinidad
And
and
Tobago.
Tobago.
Hillary's in Tobago.
And Tobago, yes. So, um, today, as you can see from our title, and just to, what kind of mom learned from Robert Kiyosaki? And as you know, both of us are marketing moms. I am a first-time mother with one beautiful daughter, and I decided that I was not going to choose between my family, my children, and a career. I was going to be able to do something where I can do both. And Bernie is
I am a wife and mother of 7 children, and after many years of spending lots of time with the 7 children, I decided to go into a home business where, as Hillary said, the focus is always the balance between life and business. But and as I read this morning from Jeff Walker, that's another book that I'm reading, he says there is there is success in having an idea and taking it to success. There is success in it and it can be done. So if that is what you're looking for the balance between life and your career, we invite you to look at what we are doing. And today we are going to talk, and in conjunction with Book Week, which is happening this week, culminating on March 5th. Our book review today is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich and Poor Dad. And we're both going to touch on different points in the book that Hillary and I got great aha moments from and got us in, because books are supposed to inspire you, and books are supposed to create that creativity in you, bring out that creativity in you, and really to keep you moving forward. So, Hillary, you can go first.
all right. So one of the things that I mean, going through the book, and even as when I read the book, I read it twice actually, and when I was just reviewing it again, I it jumped out at me that, particularly from my where I was, one of the first things that Robert talks about is not to worry about money. And sometimes when you, and I remember, coming into the system that both Bernie and I are part of Elite Marketing Pro, one thing that I remember them stressing about was you're not in this for the money. And a lot of people join the business for money because they're worried about the money. They're worried about how they're going to pay the bills. They're worried about how they're going to pay school fees. They, that's what we moms think about. We are the CFOs of homes and we worry a lot about the finances. But if you go into it worried about the money, if you have that mindset, you're not going to actually get any money. You need to focus, shift your mindset from worrying to actually the action that's going to get you the money eventually, rather than thinking about, okay, I'm doing this for the money, I'm doing this for the money. You do it for the value that it gives to somebody. You do it for the personal development that it will bring towards you. You do it to help a friend, and then the rewards of the financial benefit will come once you're following the plan that is going to produce the money. So that was one, I mean, and there's so many aha moments, as Bernie said, the aha moment. But that was one of the first punchlines. Don't bog yourself down worrying about what you can't do. So, Bernie, what was one of your.
Well, I'm going to finish a little bit on what you just said because you raised excellent points. Um, the minute anybody comes into or has an idea and they want to bring their idea to, how you would say, the marketplace, okay? Because that's basically what it is. You have an idea, you have a product, you have a service, you want to bring it to the marketplace. Now, if you, and as Hillary said very rightly, if you keep focusing on who I'm going to sell to, then people are going to, how the top leaders talk about, they're going to smell you from a mile away. So therefore, your focus should be as Hillary said, giving value, but more so and if that's your focus, then your words are going to speak that kind of words. Yes, Hillary? That's what you
Yes,
meant, right?
yes,
Excellent.
yes.
And when you go in service of giving value and sharing why you are so excited about your venture, then books like Robert Kiyosaki is going to help you to understand how you go about sharing your value with people in the marketplace, right?
Yep.
So therefore, the worries and what worries do to you is they tend to hold you back, right?
Yes, they do because it stalls your action. And if it's
There
one
you go.
thing,
Excellent.
yeah, if it's one thing that you don't want is to be stalled not doing things. And for me, I mean, personally, that was something that I had to overcome. So seeing that come out as one of his first points, it was like, you're getting slapped by the two by four. It's like, okay, fine, get into action. And if you're not doing anything, then most likely that's why you're worrying. But if you
Mhm.
are doing things and if you are putting forward the work, don't sit there and get, frustrated or anxious or nervous. Keep at it. Keep doing what it is that you know you have to do because eventually the results are going to come. As they say, I don't know who said this quote, but the only mistake that you make is not taking an action. The only mistake you can make is not taking
Is
an
not
action.
taking action.
Yep.
Okay. And Hillary, can I ask you a question? Why,
Mm.
in a sense, can you say that you're happy to keep being in action? Is there anything or any people that you were around that kept you, convinced that you're in the right place?
Well, definitely, yes. EMP, our Elite Marketing Pro Team on Fire. And that community, I think, because everybody's at different levels, and what you see is you actually see other people's growth. You see people
Mm,
they're excited about the very small advances. So it's like, one thing that I go back, it's so funny because maybe how my daughter has been growing and how I'm seeing EMP and myself growing. If you could remember that time when your child took their first step and how excited you got. That's exactly how excited I got when I got my first online lead. And then everybody in the EMP Team on Fire community got that excited the same way as if it was like, oh my goodness, she took a first step. So
yeah.
that is the type of excitement and motivation that you need because sometimes when you're in any organization, you're looking too far ahead. And it's good to see those 6, 7 figure, 8 figure earners, but it's also great to see the person who just made their first $200 online and
Hmm.
it's grown to $500 and it's grown to 2,000. It's really good for you to be able to see that because then you could say to yourself, this is achievable. This you can work at it, and it does take time, and that is what is great about being in
But
a
being in
community.
a community, yes.
You see that it takes time so that you know that, okay, this isn't going to happen for me tomorrow, it's not going to happen to me next week, but these guys have been at this for a year and they're seeing the results. It's growing, and
Yes.
that is what keeps you motivated and keeps you going.
Excellent, excellent. And then the best part too is that because they're ahead of you in the curve of learning and in curve of action, is that you
Mhm.
can cut short your learning curve because you learn from their mistakes. Right?
Exactly.
Correct? So
Exactly.
that's
Yep.
EMP Team on Fire. Excellent. So now, in particular, my biggest point, because there's plenty great points from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book. My biggest thing is getting your child to develop that creativity and that curiosity.
Mhm.
Okay, and in the same way, it applies to when you start marketing your business. Yeah,
Yes.
you need to keep developing that creativity and that curiosity. How can I get it done better? How can I get it done faster? Now, in
Mhm.
Robert's book, he talked about when he and his friend was in the shop, in the comic book shop, in the store, corner store shop, and they were selling comics, and Robert loved comics. So he used to save up his dime that he used to get, one dime every for the 1 hour that he would get, and he would buy comics with it. And it's only when he realized, I mean, yes, he was grumping, oh my gosh, just packing shelves and cleaning cans of this and boxes of that and wiping down and repacking. That was the mundane part of his job. But his brain was at work. You know, how can I get anything out of packing shelves? You know? And
Mm.
because he was asking himself that question, his he was actually his curiosity was alive, his creativity was alive as much as he was grumping. He realized that the lady, the person who ran the shop, used to throw out comic books at the end of every week. And so therein he realized, hey, I could reuse these comic books, right? So
That
therefore he started a reading club of his comic books in the basement, all right? And so therefore he started making money,
money.
you know, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
that was my biggest aha from, yeah, and you as a mom need to speak in a way that you're going to get creativity come out to your children. Like,
Mm.
for instance, this weekend we had a birthday party, and I put my two teenage boys in charge of doing the hot dogs and the hamburgers. Now, they didn't get it this time because if they had opened 5 packs of hot dogs in one pot of water, the hot dogs would have gotten out there faster, you know? But it's their learning curve, and the problem with us parents, as moms, is that we always want to solve the problem for them and tell them, well, why didn't you do so and so, and this is so much easier, and, but you got to leave them to make the mistakes. And in a sense, it's the same thing with marketing. You have to make your mistakes, and don't be upset with your whoever your leader is at the time, be it your upline, be it your sponsor. You gotta be in mistake. You gotta make mistakes, because when you make mistakes and somebody who is going to notice you, somebody is going to notice you and going to say, hey, would you like to a point on what it is that you did? Because I saw that you're in action, but you're making this mistake. And you, the person who's making the mistake, has to be open to criticism, because that's another big mistake. A lot of marketing people, marketers who are out there marketing their home business, they're just not open to
To
somebody who
learning.
notices what they're doing, to learning.
To
Because
learning.
when somebody makes a point, say, why don't you do this way, and they're like, oh no, I'm fine. Like, you
Hmm.
just cut off the finger of the person who may actually help you to get to where you want to go faster. All right,
Yeah.
and that's what's great about EMP. The we are open to learning. We keep ourselves open to learning. And Hillary helps me. I help Hillary. Somebody else helps Jeff. Jeff helps Purity Bowl. I mean, it all goes around. And there's Chef Katrina watching all of us just blooming, and because she's just great. She's a great leader.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
Chef Katrina. All right.
And and
Um,
Bernie, just like on one of that point, tying it back to the book for those who they want to go and read it. If you read chapter 6 in Robert's book, that's where he
Robert
talks about
Kiyosaki's book.
Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's where he talks about being open to learning. Because he was describing, the situation where he's trying to show somebody exactly what you were saying. Here's a way for you to start selling your book or selling your material. And unfortunately for the person, they won't open to learning, and therefore their book will never be sold, their book will never be published, because they think they know everything about literature, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
they know nothing about selling. And that's the difference, that if you don't know, like, I always tell people I was the best mom before I had my child, because I knew everything about being a mother. I would tell all other mothers, you should do it this way, and you should do it that way. and I didn't even have a child yet. Boy, was I humbled when Madame Olivia came along,
Yes,
right? So
yes, yes.
be open to
Be
learning.
open to learning. Yes, yes, yes. So you might be the best author, you might be the best engineer, you might be the best doctor, you might be the best dentist. But if you don't know marketing, you're going to run out of clients, you're going to run out of friends and family who will support you. So if you need to expand your business, definitely our group, EMP, Elite Marketing Pro, can help you. And Hillary is and I gonna put the link below for you to see how you can connect with us to get into our group, our amazing marketing group.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Anything else, Hillary? Any points? Because we talked about research. Oh, I think we didn't talk about research. Did we talk about research? Because I know Robert Kiyosaki talks about being in research.
Well, there was a story in there, and I thought it, as you say, research, because it was a point where the kids were being creative in starting this business, but
Mm-hmm.
what they
It's
failed
starting
to,
the point of making money. Yes, is
yes,
that the one you were talking about, chapter one? Excellent. Yes.
yes, and they where they actually started a mint. They they
Yes.
they which doing, and in terms of that, doing a little bit of research, it's not to kill your idea, but it's to make sure that it's viable, right?
Right.
Because although you may have creativity, you don't want your idea to put you into prison, like these poor two little boys could have possibly been if they even went outside. I thought that was very funny, but it really, to me, that showed a lot of creativity, but
Yes.
um,
It is.
it
And
also
it's great
showed the point.
also that the father didn't crush, didn't tell him, oh, you stupid child, how could you think of doing that? No, it didn't say that. Father
Right.
says, we need to talk. So,
Exactly.
so tell us a little bit more about the story. How
So,
did the story show creativity?
well, because I'm trying to remember, but what I saw was that
Okay, well, let me help you then. The
yeah,
line that the father says, because the son, Robert Kiyosaki, comes home to his dad and says, Dad, I need more money. And dad, I said, well, then go make money, right? So he goes away and he says, okay, I need to make money. I need to make money. How am I going to make money? Bing! The light bulb goes off. Okay, so he noticed in those days they used to make toothpaste out of tin, right? The metal
yes,
tin.
yes,
And so therefore, he and his friend went around to all the doors in the neighborhood asking for people their empty toothpaste, right? Because of course, if it'd be like my sons with the hot dog pot. If you cook one pack of hot dogs, I mean, you can only put out that much, right? Hot dogs in 5, 10 minutes. So what he and his friend did is they went around and collected all the empty toothpaste tubes, and then they in the garage and they melted the tubes in the pot, and then they pressed it onto the coin, and they were minting coins because the father said to go make money, right? So that's what he heard, go make money. So in his creative brain, figured he could put the tin against the coin and he'd make a 5 cent coin or a 10 cent coin. He was making money.
funny.
All right. So yeah, it was the legal way, but his brain was working,
His
and
brain was
that's
working.
and that's why you need to read books. Books help bring out that creativity in you, bring out that, what did he mean by that story? Let me try it this way, or how can I apply his story into my situation, my environment?
Hmm. Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
So another thing I got from his stories, Robert's story, because Rich Dad Poor Dad is really how Robert went through his childhood. In the majority of the book is him going through his childhood to show you how he learned both from his rich dad and from his poor dad what their philosophy in life was all about. The rich dad, being his friend's dad, is the one that taught Robert Kiyosaki how to use the resources that he has to make it. bring in money, to bring to bring your ideas to fruition, to bring your ideas, your product, your service to the marketplace so that you can serve other people. And the one thing as a mom, it taught me is that you need to serve your child in humility, because if you think you're such a great mom, like Larry said, she read all the books, she went to Google, and Google told her that she could be the best mom ever. But really, when you take it as each, because each child is different. I have seven, and they're all different. They have similar points, but they're all different. All right. So therefore, it demands from you, the mom, to be different. So in the same sense, when you serve your child in humility, you're actually listening to the situation. You listen to your child, and therefore he says, "Okay, this is what you're saying. So therefore, I am going to do this, or I am going to help you along by pushing you in this direction." Like for instance, if a child has, like for instance, my first son, he could not read for the life of him at 4 years old, and but he loved to draw, and I mean his imagination was crazy. The things that he would come up with, stories he would come up with. So don't worry that your child is not reading at 4 years old, but certainly encourage him in nurturing that imagination, in nurturing that scientific brain, in nurturing his ability to draw. He used to draw like, you know, I would tell him, okay, you saw that thing that we went to today, let's draw it on paper. And the details he remembered as 4 years old, I mean, it was amazing. So you encourage them where they're great while you help them along in what they're not so great at. That's
Yes.
another thing that I got from Robert Kiyosaki as well.
And actually,
Serving in humility, because when you serve, you actually realize what it is that your person that you're speaking to
mhm.
needs. And that's the marketing side of it. So you'll be interested in the person that you're speaking to find out what it is that they really need. Because as I read, I forgot which book it was I read. I think it was Jeff Walker's or this guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were saying that when you really ask the person, that's when you're going to get the answer, because people really don't know what they want. People don't know what they don't know.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to that, again, as you were talking about the serving, I that resonated again within our EMP Team on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
That Team on Fire exists because of a leader who decided to serve. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that is something that's very important. That if you want to build your own team, you have to go out there with the mindset of serving people.
Excellent. Yes, very,
Yeah.
very much so.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
just
So,
wanna
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to close with, because we have maybe
Yes.
3 more minutes, and I
Three
just want to
minutes.
close with the the close off of Robert Kiyosaki's book, which was basically Overcoming Fears. And for me personally, it for the first 6 months of being online, it took a lot of me getting over the fear of me wondering whether or not I can do this. Um, and that is something that everybody is going to go through. You're going to have your up days, you're going to have your down days, but you have to identify your fear of what is keeping you back from your business, doing your business, getting anything, keeping you back from anything really, because sometimes even with a almost 2 year old, sometimes I don't want to crawl out of bed because I'm afraid because I'm afraid of the menace. But you
She's
do have,
gorgeous. Don't worry about Hillary. She's a gorgeous child.
yes, she is gorgeous. But you have to just just like in life, there's some things that you can't chuck underneath the carpet, you can't push it aside, you can't do
Mhm.
that with your family, you can't do that with your children. And if you've decided to start a business and market online, you can't say, okay, I don't know how to do this, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Go out there and learn how to do it. If there's something that you are saying today that you can't do, identify it, find the resource, and go and learn how to do it. I mean, that's the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your business. Learning is never ending.
Correct. Correct, correct, correct. Very much so. I think that was an excellent wrap up, Hillary. Congratulations. So,
So,
Robert Kiyosaki is definitely a book that you should read, um, and learn from his stories how to, how you would say, achieve, jump over, go around, go under your obstacles.
yep,
And
yes.
definitely check out our link below that will get you into our group, Elite Marketing Pro Team on Fire.
EFPT modifier. Thanks
We are
for joining
waiting
us
to we
today.
are waiting to serve you.
Have a wonderful day. Bye now.
Bye, Hillary. Thanks
Bye,
for
Brittany.
coming. Thanks for visiting our visitors. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.